Alright, so let's rank Update 6 Part 1 units from the best to the worst, and basically recommending which one you guys should get.
術式順天青術式反転赤き
Okay, so before we start, just like the other versions and the other videos that I've done similar to this, I have some side notes. First of all, these units are situational. Some of them may be good for story mode, some of them may be good for air, some of them may be good for supporting, some of them may be good for damage. I don't think there is any air damaging units in this update, at least for part 1. So I don't think that's going to be in the question, but besides that, everything else is going to be considered. Second of all, it's just my opinion. Of course, you could just have your own opinion. Get whoever you want. It is what it is. It's just a game, alright? Just enjoy the game. But then finally, part 2 can change everything, literally everything, especially for Itadori, because Itadori, he may not have an evolution, spoiler, but he might get it in part 2. You know, Sukuna might pop out of him, might be involved in evolution. I know part 2 is coming up with something crazy, but yeah, let's get started. So for number 1, I don't know if you guys already have seen this coming, but I have Gojo. So the reason why I put Gojo up here is because he's honestly really overpowered. Alright, he's one of the best damaging units in the game so far. So let me quickly go over his stats and tell you guys why he's so good, because of his abilities. But his damage around 48,000, DPS around 24,000, SBA is around 6, range 40, AoE is a massive line AoE. I'm pretty sure it's not as big as Stark's, just like 10 range lower, right? But yeah, it's similar to Stark, pretty wide, pretty thick, pretty fat, pretty juicy. I'm also certain that he doesn't multi-hit since he does hollow purple, so it's just a single attack. And now let's get into why he's so overpowered. So he has 2 main abilities. So the first one, of course, is Unlimited Void, his domain expansion. Unlimited Void basically gives a global freeze. It's like a better Diavolo. It freezes everything instead of slows for 8 seconds, around 8 seconds, and gives himself an 100% self-damage buff. Alright, since he's already doing 48k, imagine popping this. Multiplied by 2, that's around what? 96,000, 97,000 damage every hit? And that's every 6 seconds. So this guy is attacking fairly quickly for the amount of damage he's doing. And the second ability is Limitless. So if you didn't already know, Gojo is one of the more unique mechanical units in the game because of Limitless. Limitless is basically kind of like an ability where you could infinitely upgrade this guy. So I believe his max upgrade is around 8, but if you give Gojo, which is like an NPC on the actual map, talk to him, and you get a 6th eye and feed it to the Gojo by talking to the NPC, you'll increase its max upgrade by 1. So every time you increase its max upgrade, it's gonna increase its damage, alright? It's gonna keep going up and up and up, and it's gonna get exponentially more expensive. I've seen it go up like 16,000, 20,000 per upgrade, but the damage is nuts. Besides that, you can place 3 of these guys down, and the total amount you upgraded besides having Limitless and having all those upgrades is around 58,000 currency in the game. So 58,000 cash. Alright, so for number 2, I'm gonna go ahead and put my boy Nanami, Kento, or Kento Nanami, or Kent, whatever you want to call him, the guy with the cleaver, right? This guy is absolutely nuts, and I'll tell you guys why in a minute here, but in summary, he also has 2 abilities. So for damage, it's around 32,000. You will see later on why it's different for many people, because they might get it confused for its ability called Overtime. But its DPS is around 23,000, SPA is around 5.6, range is around 32, and the AoE is a big cone AoE. I'm pretty sure it's as similar as Madara. I don't know if Madara has the same stats, but if it's the same range and same, you know, style, it's pretty wide, it's pretty thick, it's pretty like big. It's not too long, but still really massive. It's like a new generational Arima combined with an Eto. This guy also does multi-hit, and now going in depth on why I put him on 2nd place is because of his 2 abilities. Like I said, so the first one, of course, 50% crit chance, alright? 50% crit chance, that's like Valkyrie. Every single time another hit lands, that's most likely a ×2 damage multiplier. So that's around 64,000 damage. But this could go even crazier because the second ability, Overtime, I forgot to add it here. Let me quickly add it. Overtime basically allows Nanami to get a 1% extra damage boost every wave. So, for example, 32,000, right? What's 1% of 32,000? I don't know. Around 320, I believe. So every single wave, he'll get 320 for the first one, and then you have to factor in the 320 into the 32,000, and then you get 1% of that, and it keeps on going and going and going and going and going. It's nuts. It's crazy the amount of like damage this guy could do in Infinite. This guy's gonna be definitely a leaderboard unit for Infinite. I definitely recommend getting Nanami. But besides that, you can place 4 of these guys down, and the total cost is around 64 or 62,000 cash. And then the last reason why I recommend this is just because it's a limited, of course. You might lose them in part 2 of the update, so get them while you can. For number 3, I got your boy Megumi. Alright, Megumi, honestly one of my favorite characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, just because he summons, and I was kind of disappointed how in the game he wasn't summoning the actual units to fight for him, but he does something else pretty unique, which I'll go over here in a bit. But his damage around 36,000, DPS is around 19k, SPA 7.7 seconds, and a range of 25. He has an AoE of big circle AoE. I'm pretty sure it's similar to Itadori, so you could kind of like flop them back and forth with the same AoE, and I can't off the top of my head I can't really compare it to anything else, but just know he has a pretty big circle AoE. He does multi-hit, so that's really nice, and the reason why I place him above Itadori, which is the last person, is because of the fact that he has the ability called Curse. So if you already haven't used Whitebeard also has the ability called Curse, which basically gives a unit minus 15% on defense, or you could say 15% more damage on the unit that's effective. So yeah, it's really good. So if Megumi hits a unit, and then let's say Gojo comes in with that 40,000 damage, and that's a 15% more damage. Let's do some math. 40,000 times the 0.15, that's an extra 6,000 damage on one unit from 40,000. And this doesn't even account for Irwin buffs and Sakura buffs, so it goes nuts. That's why I put him above Itadori. The reason why I put him like a little lower than anything else is because he's not really that special. He's just a cursed unit. He's really good for support, I can say that, so might be used for leaderboard runs, probably an alternate version for Blackbeard, but yeah, he's just there to do some debuffs. His damage is pretty good though, but his SPA is a little high. So you could put Godspeed on this guy if you're gonna use him as a support, and then boom, get all those debuffs going. And then finally, I've already said this, I have your boy Itadori. Now, Itadori's down here because his stats aren't looking the best, and there's nothing really special with him. So let's go through the stats. Damage 18,000, DPS 13,000, SPA 5.5 seconds, range 25, AoE similar to Megumi, or yeah, Megumi. Multi-hit, nope, because Black Flash is a literal one-hit combo, so yeah, it's a single target plus no ability. Even though his SPA might be as low as 5 seconds, his damage is pretty lacking. 17,000 for this type of unit? At this point, we're getting into units that do like 40,000, 50,000 per 5 seconds, so it's getting nuts. But for the rest of it, no ability. You can place 4 of these guys down, and the total cost is around 46k. Now, the reason why I said earlier why part 2 is gonna go crazy is because I'll say it again, Sukuna is definitely coming through. I recommend getting Itadori, even though I don't put him at the top of my list just because he's not as important for this update. He will be important for the next update. Guaranteed, no shot. They're gonna leave the protagonist out of the Jujutsu Kaisen update, right? They're definitely gonna put Sukuna in here. He's gonna be needed for an evolution or some sort of like event, and then you're gonna get Sukuna. He's gonna go crazy, spawn a shrine, do a bunch of slashes, alright? Get Itadori even though he's at the bottom of my list just because of that future cause, alright? But if they don't do it, they missed an opportunity. Besides that, that's my ranking. Like I said, first one, I got your boy Gojo. Second one, I got Nanami. Third one, I got Megumi. And then lastly, I got Itadori. Tell me your rankings in the comments below, and yeah, if I made a mistake, leave a comment as well. But besides that, I'm out.